How's it going, guys? It's me, Brandon Matula.
And I'm Thomas Hicks. And today, guys, it's our sports special. A little awkward of a drop because we usually drop on Thursdays. It is Friday evening right now. It was my birthday on Wednesday, so I got kind of tied up with that. And then we knew we wanted to get an episode out, but we were a little hesitant because there was an NFL game last night, so we wanted to focus on that to give you guys the best quality possible. But that kind of puts us in a perfect little nook and cranny because now we have yesterday's game as well as the games to look forward to in just under 48 hours. So kind of the best in both worlds. And I'm gonna let Brandon do his thing. You guys know how the Thursday episodes go. So that being said, Brandon, do you want to go ahead and let them know what we're getting into?
Yes. It's another big episode. It is NFL kickoff weekend. We saw a great game last night between the Tampa Bay Bucs and the Dallas Cowboys. We'll get to that soon. And today we're going to be focusing on that game, just talking through the game and seeing our opinions and seeing if there's playoff implications, whatever. And then from there, we're going to have our expert, his second time joining us, Christian Jensen.
Woohoo!
He's going to be helping us out, picking out the best teams in every division. It's going to be a blast. And then from there, we're going to talk about the Big 12 expansion. That was really big. The news broke this morning that Houston, Cincinnati, BYU, and UCF will be joining the Big 12 possibly as soon as 2024. So it's pretty exciting stuff. But and then from there, we'll transition to pop culture. Tommy, what do we got in pop culture today?
So not much in pop culture. Two albums have come out this weekend that we will talk about, kind of give our opinions on, but not much leading into Tuesday as well. But there is a lot coming up in October. So it's going to be kind of the calm before the storm because come October, we're going to have so much to talk about. So, yeah, just kind of going through the two albums, just talking about that, talking about what we've been listening to lately, and then that'll kind of allude to Tuesday's episode. So without further ado, we're going to get right on into that. But first, we just want to say thank you.
Thank you guys so much for just tuning in and just listening to our opinions, like we always say. But it's truly a blessing that we get to do this for fun. Like, we truly do enjoy this, and y'all listening to our content just makes us want to do it even more. So thank you so much. Mm-hmm. But let's get right into it. So we're going to start things out with that game last night. Oh, yeah. Tampa Bay, the Super Bowl champs, and the Dallas Cowboys. It was a pretty incredible game. It was won by a field goal pretty much. Mm-hmm. Cowboys won no, not the Cowboys. The Buccaneers won 31-29. And there's a lot of controversy in this one, and we'd like to bring on and reintroduce our guest, Christian Jensen. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
That's good to hear. What were your thoughts of last night's game?
I thought it was a really good game. It was probably there couldn't have been a better way to kick off the season. I think that both quarterbacks performed really well, and especially the receivers. I mean, they stepped up like we thought they would. Maybe even exceeding our expectations, especially on fantasy. But I think the Cowboys kicker really kind of screwed the team. That he left up 7 points. He left up 7 whole points. That's a touchdown and an extra point he left out off the board. And let's see. I think Dak. The biggest story of this game was Dak Prescott coming back after 11 months of not playing football at all, and throwing nearly 60 times and being very efficient with the ball. He played like almost like a MVP like quarterback.
Ooh.
I would say.
Okay.
I would say. Right? Or was it 3?
Yeah. It was four.
Yeah, 3.
Okay, let's read off the stats. Okay, so he went 42 of 58, 403 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Gosh.
That's ridiculous.
So, Christian, does this game have any playoff implications down the road? Do you think it just has to do with one team or both?
Here, I'll start with the Bucs. I'd say they really got bailed out in too many ways in this game. They really shouldn't have won, to be honest. I mean, the offense played great, but they could have been a lot better. There were some blown calls, some pretty obvious ones. There was one near the end that was really controversial that we can get into later, but I mean, the Cowboys kicker obviously bailed them out.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, he had a few mistakes. He threw 2 picks, missed some throws. He did have some dimes though. Like he showed like, hey, I'm 44, but I'm still playing like I'm 24.
Yeah.
But I'd say the Bucs they're not going 17-0 this season.
Ooh.
I really don't think that's realistic for them. Of course, I think they're going to win 12 plus games.
Yeah.
But they were a little rusty this week.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with that. Yeah, I think they'll be a playoff team, but I think it'll be similar to last year. I think injuries might get them, but we'll just see with that. But so do you think, like, there's been a lot of talk always about the Cowboys fans always going, it's our year, we're going to the Super Bowl. What do you realistically? What do you think of the Cowboys? Do you think they're the best in their division this year?
I think if their offense stays healthy, they could win the division just with their offense alone. But their defense could really hold them back. And that's why Washington is such a threat.
Yeah,
Washington could end up winning the division again just because their defense was so dominant. And now they have multiple quarterbacks, as options. And you have Ryan Fitzmagic as an option. Being a veteran, being on a new team for him, a team where he can possibly feel like, hey, I can get comfortable here. This can be my team. I can lead them, and maybe go win my first playoff game.
Yeah,
or even play in my first playoff game.
Yeah.
So I think Washington is a safe bet this year to win the division again. But the Cowboys, their offense could be so dominant. So I really think it's kind of a tie between Washington and Dallas right now.
Yeah.
I don't think the Eagles. I mean, if Jalen Hurts develops into a superstar, the Eagles' offense has resources.
Yeah. And then we could just forget and we could just write off the Giants.
Yeah. Daniel Jones is just not the right
guy.
He's just not that guy.
He's not that guy.
I mean, he's led the league in turnovers since he's been in the league.
Yeah.
So,
but moving forward with just about this game, I just really think this game was a great opener for the NFL. It really slapped. Like, it was a great game. I feel like a lot of people were watching it, especially around here because we're in Texas, and over half of Texans are going to watch not the Houston Texans, but the Cowboys.
Yeah. Even America too, like America's team, So it's like one thing I will say, Brandon, about this game, just to give you my input, is I don't know if you guys remember when that reporter asked Russell Westbrook, he was like, so did the Jazz win this game or did the Thunder lose this game? And he was like, bro, what are you talking about? And he was like super ticked off. I honestly think that's like a pretty good question though.
Yeah.
Like as a reporter, and I would say, because that's how if you were to ask me like, what are your thoughts on this game? I would say, I would ask you, did the Cowboys lose this game or did the Bucs win it? And it was the Cowboys lost this game because I honestly, truthfully think they thought that they had it and that they were hungrier and that they wanted it more. But I mean, it's hard to pin it all on the kicker because it's a team sport. But I think the Cowboys lost this game. Another thing I want to say, a name that I didn't hear that was meant, or the name that wasn't mentioned was Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
I heard I saw glimpses of it too last night when I was watching, but all on TikTok and Instagram, it's like Amari Cooper is up next. He is that guy. So it's like, I don't know. What do you guys think as far as last night Amari Cooper goes? What are you guys thinking?
Amari Cooper, he says he's a top 10 receiver. He doesn't talk too much apparently, but this season can really prove that. He's been consistent. He's a consistent 1,000-yard receiver. He's a consistent number one receiver on each team, each offense he's been on. I think, he can make a case for being a top 10 receiver. Talent-wise, yes, he is. And I also want to mention like CD Lamb. He played really well. He had a drop though that was, really questionable, but
and he ended up inadvertently though he ended up hurting one of the Tampa Bay defensive backs with that nasty elbow injury. That was hard to watch. Did y'all see that?
I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to miss, but man, oh man, it was bad. Go see it if you have a stomach.
I wasn't paying too much attention.
But yeah, from there, I think we can all agree that this was a great opening game. Great for the NFL. Really great for the NFL because viewership was kind of down last year, obviously, because of COVID, and less people had money to buy Red Zone and stuff, and just, it was just not as good. Like the ratings were low. But this year I have high hopes that the ratings are going to shoot back up. There's a lot of exciting stuff going on this year. And a lot of guys are coming back healthy. There were a lot of injuries last year. We forget about that. We was hurt, and then his tight end and Christian, you can finish it off. Who's the 49ers tight end?
Oh, yeah, George Kittle,
and then Nick Bosa on that team. And that's just the 49ers. But, there were a lot of injuries last year and a lot of COVID cases that stopped games. And it seems that we're going to be seeing a lot less of that because of vaccinations and the new protocols for the NFL.
Yeah, so, the 49ers are one COVID season away from their Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah, absolutely. And though, it's just very telling that this season is going to be very exciting. And in my opinion, I think there's only going to be two bad teams this year. Really bad. Going to be the Lions and the Texans. Those are the only two teams that are just going to be unwatchable. But I think
what about the Jets? Or sorry, not the Jets, the Giants.
I think the Giants are even fun to watch because they got Saquon Barkley,
Ooh, okay.
And he's fun to watch. And because it seems that every team now has a big name, And it's just
Davis Mills
on the Texans. Yeah, man, so exciting.
Davis Mills, the GOAT.
But he was their first draft pick. So
yeah. Needless to say that this opening Thursday night football game was exciting, and we'll get into more games that'll be exciting this Sunday and Monday coming up. But we're going to move on to our next segment, which is centered around Christian, our guy. Mm-hmm. He's our NFL expert, and we're just going to be asking him questions about pretty much every division. He kind of alluded to it earlier with the NFC East, but now he's going to do it the whole wide scale. Mm-hmm. Christian, since you're doing that, conference would you rather start with, AFC or NFC?
Oh, we can start with AFC.
Sweet. Okay. This one's pretty tough. We'll start with the tough one. We'll start with the AFC East. We start with the Buffalo Bills, led by
Josh Overrated Allen.
Yeah, Josh Overrated Allen. Forgot his name for a second. And then Miami with Tua Tagovailoa. New England Patriots with a brand new quarterback, Mac Jones. They just cut Cam Newton. That was pretty huge. And then
Texans
the Jets,
need to pick him up.
And then a rebuilding Jets team. Christian, out of these teams that you've heard here, who comes out on top and why?
Yeah, obviously the Bills, but I think the wild card playoff spot. I mean, the Bills are gonna probably snatch the first round bye, in my opinion. But I think the Dolphins and the Patriots are gonna fight for the wild card spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good assessment, but a powerhouse conference for the AFC, but not as
even
much.
the Jets. Yeah, the Jets are they're going to be very good this season.
Yeah, but not as much as the AFC North, including Cincinnati, led by Joe Burrow, Cleveland, led by Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham Jr., and Baker Mayfield, then Pittsburgh with Big Ben, my team, with Chase Claypool and Najee Harris at running back, and then the TikToker, Juju Smith-Schuster. And then Tommy's favorite team, the Baltimore Ravens, led by former running back Mark Ingram. No, I'm kidding. Lamar Jackson. Christian, this is because Tommy and I are both fans of teams in this division. Who do you see coming out on top?
This one is really tough. I mean, injuries have been hitting the Ravens right now. I don't think it'll affect them, a crazy amount, because they're picking up some pretty good running backs. And, Latavius Murray played on the 2016 Raiders as their lead back. Mm-hmm. That year they went 12-4, and that was their only winning season since 2002. So, and they've also picked up Dante Freeman, and then Le'Veon Bell. And I think they can really fill that gap at running back. They should be a really, really good team. I think they can make the playoffs if things pan out right, if they can fill those holes. And if they can find the cornerback, because Marcus Peters is also out. Mm-hmm. So, the Bengals, they've got to really fix the issue on the O-line. They've got 4 holes on the O-line, really. So they've got to figure that out. And Jamar Chase is still adjusting.
Yeah.
And he's like their number 4 receiver right now.
Dang.
After being the 5th overall pick.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that pick was a reach.
Yeah.
But so
they could have snatched Sewell.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's who they should have taken. So who do you have at the top taking it all in this division?
I have to go with the Browns.
Yeah. I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah,
I would say Baltimore. I feel like you would say Baltimore if they didn't have all those injuries with Dobbins and then their defensive back.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But the Browns, they're just the most solid team in the division right now overall, across the board. And they have a proven scheme now. All these other teams are constantly adjusting. Even the Steelers right now. Mm-hmm. They're adjusting as Ben gets older and as their O-line constantly is, changing. But I think the Browns, they've proven now that they can win, and they're returning almost everybody on offense and defense. Yeah. And Baker he's only getting better.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay. And then to the AFC South, including the Tennessee Titans, who made a lot of moves this offseason. Lots of moves, including landing Julio Jones. That was a big move. And then the Indianapolis Colts, who lost their quarterback in Carson Wentz, that they just signed to a deal. He'll be out for a while, and be interesting to see what happens there. And then Jacksonville, they had the number 1 overall pick in Trevor Lawrence. And have a new coach in Urban Meyer, so that'll be fun to watch. And then the Texans. I feel like this one will be a little bit easier, but Christian, who do you have coming out on top?
If Carson Wentz can play week 1, he might be able to. But I mean, if Carson Wentz can play like an MVP, I mean, they could win the division. They have a way better defense than the Titans.
Yeah.
But right now, I'd have to go with the Titans. It's just a more obvious pick. Their offense is just so you can't really defend that offense. You've all across the board. You've got too much to take care of and process. And, obviously you've got A.J. Brown and Julio on either side of the field. And how can you defend that? You've already got to double cover Julio.
Yeah.
So.
Gosh. Yeah, they're going to be incredible. That'll be exciting to watch. And then to cap off the AFC, it's the AFC West. This one may be easy, but, yeah, who do you have on top? And then I want you to say this, but I'll let you say it if you want to. Who do you think could be a sleeper in this division?
Obviously it's the Chiefs that will win this division. But the sleeper, this is actually pretty difficult because, I mean, the Raiders, their offense is just always proving to do well. Except for, their O-line is never consistent. In 2016, they had a top 4 O-line, but every other year has been not even top 20.
Yeah.
And their defense hasn't been top 20 at all in the past, 5 years. And it's still not going to be top 20 this year.
Yeah.
But their car is just constantly putting out elite numbers and proving that he can be a top 10 quarterback. But the Chargers right now, I wouldn't say the Chargers because right now they just switched play callers, and
So you're thinking that it might affect Justin Herbert's second season?
and of course there can always be a sophomore slump, but Justin Herbert's going to be he's already proven he's really good. But when you change play callers and your O-line switches up, you really never know what can happen. You see how much an O-line can affect the team, especially a young quarterback.
Yeah.
But right now, if I would say the Broncos are the sleeper because if Teddy Bridgewater, if he plays like he did on the Saints and in Minnesota, they have a really good defense. They've got a good O-line. They've got pass catchers. I would have to go with the Broncos.
Nice. Okay.
So what was the team you were hoping I would say?
Yeah. I was kind of hoping the Chargers, but you kind of gave me a good reason why they wouldn't, and that makes sense. They have a new play caller, so that's good. So all around, Chris. Yeah.
I will say that I would only say the Broncos though if Teddy Bridgewater. It all depends on Teddy Bridgewater. The Chargers they've got a good defense. Mm-hmm. The only things that have changed are the O-line and the play callers.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So in whole, you picked Buffalo, Cleveland, Tennessee, NFC. I think those are what we picked. And over to the NFC to wrap things up in this segment. We'll start with the NFC. Top.
On top right now.
Including the Giants, the Eagles, Washington, and Dallas.
So go through each division?
Yeah, we're going through out of the football team and the Cowboys. Who do you think's coming out on top in that?
I would have to go with the Cowboys. And that's that's only based on the offense. I mean, the defense can put itself together eventually. But if the Washington offense can't put itself together, at quarterback especially, but they're a safe bet to win. But if the Cowboys, if they have, a top 3 offense, like they have before, I think they could win this division.
Yeah. And let's remember something, like the Washington football team had had a QB come in for the playoff game. And the Washington football team, correct me if I'm wrong, closest team to beating
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a cool tidbit. So that speaks a lot to how good
they could be this year. But we move to the NFC North. Christian, I know you have some thoughts about this, but here we go. We got Chicago led by Anthony Dalton and possibly later Justin Fields. Detroit Lions, they just trade Jared Goff. We'll have to see how he does this year for the Lions. And then Green, it's win or die, or not win or die, for the Green Packers and
see how he does this year.
And then the Minnesota Vikings. Who do you have coming out on top?
I mean, obviously you could go with the Packers. They really didn't lose anybody this offseason. So except for Jamal Williams, and a couple of backups on the defensive line. But I mean, they should win 12 games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if things pan out right. But I think it's a sleeper for the wild card spot, because I mean the Packers should be competing for the first round bye. But a sleeper for the wild card spot is definitely the Vikings. Like last year, they were COVID wrecked and injury throttled. But this season, I mean, Kirk Cousins is proven to be consistent. Justin Jefferson is coming off the greatest rookie season ever, arguably. So I think if the Bears obviously could take that wild card spot, but the sleeper is definitely the Vikings.
I will say, as far as the Packers go, I've been thinking about this a lot coming up to this season. But I think the pressure is too strong because of Aaron Rodgers and because the Packers, you're right, Brandon, it's do or die. And I think the pressure is way too strong. And if history repeats itself, they fold under pressure. I do think that they come out on top of the NFC North, but I just don't see them going crazy far after that. Yeah. So I think it could low key be the Vikings, but I don't know. Just
that's all I wouldn't say that's a bad prediction.
The pressure's just too high for the Packers. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I could see the Vikings taking it over the Packers. It just depends how they respond to the pressure, because usually the Packers coast through the season, and they just do well. And then the pressure goes up in the postseason and they fold. This season, though, the regular season is even high stakes for them. They need to get a good playoff spot so they can avoid the Buccaneers as long as they can. Mm-hmm. So we'll have to see what happens from there. But speaking of the Buccaneers, we're going to be going to the NFC South. This one might be pretty easy. There's really not a strong quarterback in sight besides Tom Brady in this conference. You got the Tampa Bay Bucs, Super Bowl champs, Atlanta Falcons, who just made a big trade sending Julio to the Titans. Interesting trade there. And then New Orleans just lost Drew Brees. Tough loss for them, but a great career for him. We'll have to see where they go from here. And then the Carolina Panthers, who are getting Christian McCaffrey back. That's going to be fun and great for fantasy.
Yeah.
But Christian, so who do you have coming out on top there? All biases aside.
I mean, the Buccaneers. Yeah, I would say. But I mean, the Panthers, they're a sleeper right now. And of course, the Saints, if Jameis Winston performs like an MVP, like he has before, performed very well. I mean, throwing for 5,000 yards, regardless of the 30 interceptions, 5,000 yards is 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
But the Panthers, Sam Darnold is a good quarterback, and I think under the right coach and the right scheme, the Panthers could snatch that wild card spot.
Nice. Okay. I like the sound of that. But let's wrap things up with the NFC West. I would say this is the equivalent to the AFC North. I feel like the AFC North is the most stacked division in the AFC, and then the NFC West is the most stacked. This is a tough one because
this has got to be the best division in the NFL.
Yeah, the Rams. I mean, they got Matthew Stafford. You've praised him highly in the past, and then you got Arizona, who made big trades this summer, including getting J.J. Watt. I know he's old, but like still, you're getting J.J. Watt. That's huge. And then San Francisco's getting their boys back. The ones they lost to injury, and then Seattle is coming in too. Can't forget about them. Christian, this is a tough one, but who do you have coming?
I would say because of the 49ers quarterback situation, I'd say the Rams win the division.
Wow.
And that's if Matthew Stafford performs like we expect him to.
Yes.
Because the Rams are coming off the number one defense, in the entire NFL last season. And they were able to win a playoff game with a backup quarterback. They won Week 17, and half of the game was they started the backup quarterback, and then he got hurt, and Jared Goff came back in, and Jared Goff was hurt. So that was a mess. They almost won again. So I think the Rams could win 13 games. I think most people's predictions are 12 or 13 games.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people are thinking they're going to go to the Super Bowl this season. They think they're going to be able to host, which will be interesting. That'll be the second year in a row a team hosts a Super Bowl pretty much. So that's very cool. But, great picks overall, Christian. So to review, he picked out of the NFC. He picked Dallas out of the NFC East. He picked Green Bay in the NFC North, Tampa Bay in the South, and then the Rams in the NFC West. Thank you, Christian, once again. And we're just looking forward to a big season. So just be looking forward to more NFL content as we go through the season. But make sure to watch games and just comment or send us a DM of a game that you might want us to talk about, maybe on Tuesday or Thursday. Who knows? Up to y'all. But we're going to transition to college sports now. There was breaking news this morning. The Big 12 decided to send out invites to the University of Houston, UCF Knights, Cincinnati, and then BYU. Very, very interesting move from the Big 12. Christian, just in a few words, what were your initial thoughts when the Big 12 did this?
I honestly thought they could have added Boise State in. But I think this is nice because Boise State can stay the greatest group of 5 team of all time. So that's cool for them. But this is just excellent for the Big 12. I don't know. Losing Texas and OU is not very excellent at all.
Yeah, but they're good. I talked about this on another podcast with my partner at Relevant. We came to the conclusion that it's not a great move, but it is a good move. It's a good replacement. Like four of these teams, they're good replacements, but they're not great because they will never equate to what Texas and OU can bring you financially.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is the best move they could have made after losing Texas and OU in the future.
Yeah. Do you think that the Big 12 stays afloat and they remain a Power 5 conference?
I think they can because those 4 teams individually could have joined other Power 5 conferences.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Even Cincinnati. Cincinnati's historically has proven to be a very good team.
Yeah.
And now their coach is amazing. Their team is amazing. So I mean they're just heading upwards. So it's a great move. As far as team choices. So I think the Big 12 could. I mean they could stay a Power 5 conference really.
Yeah.
But they're probably going to be the out of the 5 they're going to be
bottom 2.
Bottom 2.
Yeah.
So, but
I still think they'd be better than the Pac-12. That's just
of course. The Pac-12 it's full of big name schools, of course, but I mean in the last 20 or 30 years it's been 3 or 4 teams that have done most of the work.
Yeah. Football's just not the same out west. But what were you going to say?
For myself, I think this is cool for Chris and I because we're both members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but we're also both from Houston. So the Cougar rivalry is very strong in our heads. Mm-hmm. Do we go for U of H? Do we go for BYU? Because, we love our church and we love our city. So it's like tough. Why I'm excited, I kind of saw this coming with U of H. They're getting better and better at football every year. And some
especially
years
basketball.
Oh yes, absolutely, especially with basketball. But like with football too, I've noticed. And yeah, they've had some slump years, but in general, like they've been getting better and better every year. Would you say that? Would you agree with that, Brendan?
Yeah.
So
across the board, yes. If you just look over the years, yes, they've improved, but they've kind of fallen off a tiny bit. But
yes,
there's still room for success for the Cougs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. So that being said, I kind of saw this coming with U of H, but I really didn't see it coming with BYU, and it excites me because it kind of puts BYU on the map. BYU, Jimmer Fredette. Before there was Steph Curry, there was Jimmer Fredette, arguably and probably the greatest college basketball player of all time. Mm-hmm. His stats were just incredible, and he did a great job of putting BYU on the map. You have Jamal Williams is from BYU, and Yoli Childs on the Wizards, he's from BYU, and then. So you have people from BYU, but this is going to be huge because every year people kind of count out BYU, and rightfully so the past couple of years because they haven't been super great. But
being in the Big 12,
yeah, BYU is going to be a household name now, and that excites me because I love BYU. It's the school I've been when I played NCAA football, I'd always choose to go to BYU, and it's just cool to see how they're kind of getting more recognition, and I think. That's also going to help with their recruiting, which is the hardest, which is their biggest Achilles. That's their Achilles heel. They need to start recruiting outside of Utah. They need to start recruiting in bigger states, Texas, California, Florida, Georgia. They need to start recruiting in bigger football states. And I think this is going to help a lot because a lot of people are going to want to go there now. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. This Thomas's 2 cents on BYU and U of H joining the Big 12. I think this is excellent for BYU. It's cool. It's gonna be hard because they might end up being one of the worst teams in the Big 12 for the first couple of years. But when they find their bearings and they start doing well, I think it's gonna be so much fun. And it just excites me to see, BYU kind of on the map now. They've been on the map with Jimmer and Jamal Williams and other Yoli Childs and then Steve Young. They've had a lot of successful athletes come out of BYU, but this is the biggest since those guys because it's been a while. And then Zach Wilson this year. Yeah. How could I not mention Zach Wilson?
Yeah, you're going to get more Zach Wilsons out of it, more Steve Youngs. I think it's going to be a great move for y'all. And then one thing I'd like to point out, I think because a lot of people are talking and saying BYU's not going to be great in the conference. yes, that might be kind of true. And yes, I agree they'll get their bearings. But I think the way the Big 12 was thinking was attendance because, like, Tommy and I went to this game, and we didn't know it, but Houston played BYU a few years back, and U of H was constructing their new stadium, so they had to play it at NRG, a much bigger stadium than they're used to, so they obviously didn't feel it. But in this game in particular, a lot of BYU fans came. And it was
I would argue 59%, if not maybe 60, 61. Like, there were a lot more BYU fans than U of H, which is crazy.
Yeah. And that just shows like Mormons, they're everywhere, and especially in these big cities, such as Houston and then Fort Worth with TCU, Waco. Yeah. And then you got Florida. There's probably a good amount of people in Florida. So it's going to be a great move all around for BYU because it's going to help ticket sales. But that's our thoughts on the matter. Let us know what y'all think about it. We're excited because I'm a Houston fan. Tommy and Christian are BYU fans, so that's just great stuff for us. Great news. I was very happy to wake up this morning to that notification. But now we're just going to go through some big games coming up this weekend, and then we'll wrap things up here for Hot This Week Sports Edition. So we're going to start out with 2 college football games. And for college football, this is going to be the game of the week. It's between Iowa and Iowa State. This game's going to be huge. Iowa State's coming off of barely winning against Northern Iowa. But regardless, they're the number 9 team in the country still. And then Iowa coming off a big, big win over Indiana at home. And Christian, just to get it through, who do you see winning and what's your score prediction?
I think this is really cool that this rivalry is a top 10 matchup this year. And it's on College Game Day. They'll be hosting it. So
nice.
I would say if Iowa State's offense can't get going, Iowa can really get it going on offense. And their defense isn't bad. I'd say my score prediction is Iowa 28, Iowa State 17.
Nice. Okay. Tommy, do you got a score prediction?
I would say Iowa 14, Iowa State 35. I think Iowa State creams them. I've said it before. I'll say it a billion times. I know I sound like a broken record, but like I'm telling you, man, if you've ever seen Iowa State in person, and I was at that Baylor game and they went back and forth and barely lost last play of the game. Like this Iowa State team, they're not yet, but they will be very legit in a couple of years. Like I predict that they will be in the same name, in the same breath as like not Alabama and Clemson, but as like LSU, Texas A&M, maybe Florida.
And it already seems, and that prediction is kind of coming true. They're number 9 right now, and they played in the Big 12 championship against Oklahoma. So that's looking to come true.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think
good stuff on your part.
Thank you.
I will say that, I just think the reason I think Iowa pulls this out, I'm really sold on Brock Purdy. I think he could be a first-round draft pick.
Wow.
If he can really get it going this year. If not, then he might not even get drafted.
Yeah. Just the problem is Iowa State likes to run the football a lot, and which is why I made this.
They have the best running back in the country.
Yeah. That's why I made this game lower scoring than I would usually pick. I have Iowa beating Iowa State 28-20.
Wow.
I just think Iowa is just hot right now. They just beat a number 19 team in Indiana who's supposed to be really good this year. And they creamed them. They scored 2 times defensively. You got 2 pick sixes last week. And so I think they don't do the same, but their defense is very prominent in this game. So they only allow 20 points against Iowa State.
Oh, yeah. And Iowa State, the past 5 years, they've done really, really well. Compared to their history, Iowa State's history has been horrible. But the past 5 years, they've had winning seasons. And last year, they went 9-3. So the past 3 years, they've been in the playoff conversation. the first half of the year, but
Yeah.
because their team is so legit. But they set themselves up for these really big games. Like they'll start out 4-0 and then be playing in a top 10 matchup or something like that, and then they completely just fall apart on offense.
Yeah. But yeah, good point. But moving on, we got Oregon versus Ohio State. It's going to be played in the Horseshoe on the campus of Ohio State. Ohio State's number 3 going into this game, and then Oregon's number 12. Really quickly, Christian, who do you have winning this game?
I'd say Ohio State. They're just too dominant on the offense. Their defense is not proven very much at all. And so I think this could be a kind of a high-scoring game, but I think Ohio State pulls it out.
Nice.
So I'd say my score prediction is Ohio State 35, Oregon 32.
Nice. Okay, close game. Tommy, who do you got?
That's funny because I'm going with my upset of the week. Oregon beating Ohio State. I don't know, man. I kind of know, but I just think Oregon's legit. I think Iowa State is extreme. Oh, gosh, I keep saying Iowa State. Iowa, Ohio, same exact pronunciations. But Ohio State, they're also very legit. You know, obviously you're ranked 3rd and incredible recruiting. But Oregon has a lot riding on this game, and they know that. And when Oregon, it's been proven, when Oregon comes prepared, they usually come out on top. Like when Oregon knows what they're getting themselves into, they usually can have a pretty good game. So I'm gonna go Oregon 42, Ohio State 32.
Nice.
Oregon by 10.
Nice. Okay. Well, I kind of have the opposite of both of y'all pretty much. I have Ohio State winning, and I have them winning in big fashion. I think it's their first game home, and not a lot of teams come out of the Horseshoe victorious. And the teams that have won, they've been great. So I say Ohio State wins 38-14. But moving on to our NFL slate, it's opening weekend. We're very excited for that. We'll start out with a little more of a low-key game, but exciting because it's a new team. In the Rams, they got a new quarterback in Matthew Stafford. And then the Bears, led by Dalton for now, but it might change. But Christian, who do you have winning this game?
I'd say if Matthew Stafford can throw for 400 yards, they're definitely going to win because he does that almost every week, it seems like. Especially, you know, when he had Calvin Johnson for the Lions. But now, Calvin Johnson was like his only good receiver other than Marvin Harrison. But so now he's got a solid receiving core, a pretty decent O-line. Now he's got Sony Michel and Darrell Henderson. He's got a solid run game, solid receivers, pretty solid O-line, and the number one defense. So, like, what can go wrong?
So who do you have winning?
Oh, yeah. Definitely the Rams, but I'd say if Dalton can utilize this great, a really young offensive line, but a pretty great offense otherwise. I'd say the score prediction, Rams 35, Bears 28.
Nice. Okay. Tommy, who do you got?
Yeah, I'm actually on the same page as Christian. I think the Rams do win, but I don't think they kill them. I do not.
Yeah.
I think they win by 10. Once again, same thing with Oregon and Ohio State. I think the Rams, they do come out on top. You know, but it's going to be a tough game for the Rams. I really do believe that. So that being said, I got them 32-22.
Wow. Okay, interesting score.
Yeah,
I like
we're going to see how that
field goals.
happens, but I guess we'll find out.
But or possibly miss extra points. But
That's
from
what
there,
that's what
but
I'm
yeah,
doing.
I have the Rams taking this one, but I agree. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. Mm-hmm. I think the Rams pull out 24-16. Mm-hmm. I think Stafford does well on his debut, but they struggle a little bit because it's a new team, you know? So they're going to struggle a little bit. But next, we got a rematch of last year's conference semifinal between the Browns and the Chiefs. Christian, who do you got in this game?
Absolutely the Chiefs. They're just on opening day. They know how to come out strong.
Yeah, this is in Arrowhead Stadium, right?
Oh yeah, it's a home game for them. The Browns don't have history on their side. They're 1-15 in their last 16 home openers, and playing the Chiefs is probably not mentally, the best thing for them.
Yeah.
What do you have for the score?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Chiefs 42.
Wow.
Browns 28.
Wow. High scoring. Tommy, who do you got?
Chris and I I guess we're just on the same page tonight because I'm also with Chris again. I think Browns come in this game way too confident. Baker overrated Mayfield, just completely throws the ball out of the freaking park, not in a good way. So I think the Browns come in this game way too confident. And we know what the Chiefs are capable of. So I'm going 48-13 Chiefs.
Wow. Gosh, a blowout. My goodness. Yep. Well, yeah, I agree with both of y'all. So I got the Chiefs. Great points, by the way. I got the Chiefs winning this one 35-20.
Oh,
think Patrick Mahomes comes out slinging it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited to see that because
he's hungry.
Yeah, if whether you're a Chiefs fan or not, you can't say you don't like watching Patrick Mahomes. You can't just say that. Exactly. It's not true.
Yeah.
And then another big game between the Raiders and the Ravens. This one's going to strike to home. Christian, who do you got in this one?
I've got the Raiders usually come out strong every season. So I've got the Raiders winning 28-25.
Nice. Okay. Tommy, who do you got?
Big Raiders guy. Think the Raiders. I love Vegas. I'm a big Golden Knights guy, but come on. We all know who the Raiders are playing. They're playing the greatest NFL team to ever come about with the greatest quarterback to ever touch a pigskin. So I've got Ravens. I'm going to be humble here. But I have the Ravens 35-28. I have them by just a touchdown on the Raiders. The Ravens, injuries, but they do have the greatest quarterback of all time and one of the greatest coaches of all time. All jokes aside, though, I have the Ravens beating them by a touchdown. But these are my two favorite teams, so I'm just looking forward to a good game.
Nice. Great points, both of y'all. But I'm going to go ahead and take the Raiders, and here's why. I think it's going to be a 31-23 game.
Wow.
In favor of the Raiders. But this is why. If things were different, if the Ravens were healthy and even had half of the guys that they've lost to injuries lately, I'd take the Ravens every day. But because that they have new players coming on, learning new plays and everything, I think there's going to be a few adjustment issues, and they're just going to do well, but not well enough to win the game. So I got the Raiders winning 31-23. But that about wraps it up for sports this week. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we're excited for week 1 of NFL football.
Yes.
If y'all couldn't tell how excited we were. Tommy, I'm going to hand it off to you for pop culture. So what do we got going on there?
Going to be the quickest pop culture section we've probably ever had. 2 notable albums dropped late last night. And then, so as far as movies go, nothing huge has dropped. I think the Card Counter may come out this weekend. But I know the Card Counter with Oscar Isaac, Ty Sheridan is coming out soon, which is a Martin Scorsese produced film, which is exciting. But when that does come out, obviously you guys will hear it first here on Hot This Week.
Have you reviewed this one?
But Malignant. So I know Malignant came out this weekend. It's a James Wan film, Insidious, The Conjuring, one of big name horror films' greatest director, because he does have some very good films. Have not seen Malignant yet, just because I've heard the reviews aren't very good, and I have been wrapped up in schoolwork. So the movies that I have to see now are either ones that are horrible, like He's All That, which Tuesday.
I was literally about to ask, can we please review the movie?
I promise that is coming, and I'm so pumped to review that. And then
Fastest.
And then, so I either have time for movies that I just know are going to get us some views, and then movies that are actually incredible, like Candyman. So I have not seen *Malignant*. I probably won't, but if you're a fan of horror and you're a fan of James Wan, I hear this gives you a good film, so go see it. Thanks, Chris, for reminding me about *Malignant*. But yes, the two notable albums are Baby Keem's *The Melodic Blue* and Casey Musgraves, and her album is called *Starcrossed*. So Casey Musgraves, that's important because she won Album of the Year at the Grammys in 2019 for *Golden Hour*, which was an incredible album from start to finish. 13 songs, 46 minutes, all killer, no filler. So it's super, super good. So Casey Musgraves, check it out if you like modern, it's old country in a modern way.
Yeah.
Because modern country is not very good, but it's not modern country. It's old country, but it is performed in a modern way. And you'll see what I mean.
It's like a mixture of pop and country, I would say.
Yes. Yes. And then The Melodic Blue, Baby Keem. I do not like Baby Keem. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Most underwhelming rapper out right now. If Kendrick Lamar is your cousin, there is no excuse to be a bad rapper. When one of the greatest rappers of all time is your cousin and you're not a very good rapper, like that, I guess it just makes me so angry. Like, he just sounds so boring. He sounds like he's asleep on every track. Not a fan of the album, not a fan of his work. He was decent in Praise God. He has some funny lines, and that's kind of satire. So, yeah, those are the two notable albums that came out. But, next Tuesday is going to be another ranking episode, and I want it to be involved with the listeners. So we'll be asking some questions, seeing what you guys want us to rank. But I also have things in mind, so don't worry if you don't have any input. Not much going on for the rest of September. We do have Dear Evan Hansen, which I will be reviewing, The Card Counter, which I will be reviewing, He's All That, which will be, oh my goodness, so much fun. And then kind of September, but Venom. This is the start of the absolute powerhouse month of films of October. Venom is October 1st, so really September 30th, because I might be able to see it early. So not much going on in September as far as films go, and to our knowledge, music goes. But just get ready because it's the eye before the storm. Come October, there's going to be nothing but absolute bangers dropping every single week. So that's what we got in pop culture. As always, you guys, Brandon, Christian, you guys killed it. Loved hearing you guys talk about sports. I would do it all day. Wish I could hear you guys talk about it all day. You guys know a lot. You guys know a lot about a lot, and that's pretty impressive. So makes for a good podcast. But guys, thank you as always for listening. We will see you at a normal schedule again this Tuesday when we drop our pop culture section. But for now, my name is Thomas Hicks.
And I'm Brandon Matula.
You guys have a good night.